Hello and welcome to another episode of Grange TV. It's a Fair One podcast now. Um, yeah, I don't know. Apologies, people. It started off a little bit late. We had a few problems with the like the what what it's called Stream Yard or whatever. We've had a few issues with it, but we are here, people. We are ready to go. Looking forward to these fights. It's a really good card, actually. Looking forward to every fight. One of the things that spinning me out a little bit though is the odds with Dan Hooker and the Islam Makhachev fight. That's a pretty. I saw that and I thought like it was like 5 to 1 or 6 to 1 or whatever it was, and I thought that's pretty insane. Like I think for any kind of fight, really, but like Dan Hooker himself, it's pretty crazy, yeah. Because I don't know. To me, anyways, tell me what your thoughts are on it. Because Dan Hooker's not a guy you can have those kind of odds against, like especially in this fight. Because sorry, I'm just bringing up the fights here as well. I don't know. I think that Dan Hooker hits hard, and he's a very good grappler in his own right. And I don't know that Islam is going to be able to outstrike him necessarily. Like, I mean, he might catch him with something, but Hooker's a very good striker. He's a very big guy. He's got a good chin. He's very durable, and the keys to victory there for Islam are to be able to outgrapple him. I don't even know that he can do that as well. You know, I'm leaning towards him that he'd be able to outgrapple Hooker, but it's a hard thing to do like that. Like it's not that easy of a thing. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting that those odds are like that. Then obviously the Hamza versus Li Jiangling, the odds are crazy as well for him. But I kind of understand that one a little bit more. Um, Li Jiangling, has had a few kind of like decision losses there, like against Jake Matthews and Neil Magny, which you kind of look at and go, all right, I think that you know, you look at Hamza and you look at the way Hamza fights, and you think, yes, okay, I can see that one happening a little more readily than I can see the Dan Hooker one. But that's me. That's just my thing. Um, so yeah, I do not know. Guys, thank you very much, for joining me again. I will have to say this. I think I'm probably gonna have to slow down, which I already have, but I'm gonna have to slow down with the podcast. You might not see me for. I'm definitely gonna do next week's. I'm gonna try and do some every now and then, but it's gonna get real busy for me over the next I'd say 3 to 6 months with a whole bunch of personal stuff, none least of which is the birth of my daughter, very coming up very soon. So the way that the podcasts kind of line up here in Australia, it's kind of like Sunday in the middle of the day. And with other work commitments and projects and everything that I have coming up during the week, the Sunday day, it's very hard for me to just take most of the Sunday off to do the podcast and not be with my wife and the two kids and help my wife out on that. So it I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. I'm going to try it, but we're going to see. So the Hungarian hustler says, "Wakey wakey Fab, how are you, sir?" Gary the goat says, "Fab, it's an honor to have you back. Likewise, sir. Thank you so much. Over the moon for this Yarn return, man. I'm really looking forward to this fight, the Sanhagen and Yarn fight. That's a crazy fight. That is a crazy fight because that's Sanhagen is one of the guys I think can give him a really rough time, just because of the way that he fights, and how long he is and those attributes that he has. I think can create a lot of problems for Peter Yan. And Peter Yan's a big puncher, likes to come in and punch. And Sanhagen having those long limbs and those knees can create a lot of issues for Peter Yan. Roy C says, Coach Fab, long time no see. Likewise, sir. How are you? King Carrot says, I bet Hooker. I think it's a good bet. I really do. I think it's a really good bet. Gary the Goat says Maheshev would probably be 2 to 1, but being associated with Khabib gets him 5 to 1, all in for Hooker. But that's my thing, man. I don't really care who in the lightweight would fight Hooker. No one really would like should get those odds. Even Khabib, I wouldn't give him 5 to 1 against Hooker. I wouldn't. Like just especially those grapple heavy styles, is not the kind of style that I would give those kinds of odds against Hooker, just because the way the Hooker fights, again, like I said, like the knees and whatnot that are come up the middle. He's got good striking. Yeah, sure. I mean, you can land a big shot like Chandler did. Um, but again, Islam doesn't have that. He's not like, I'm not saying he can't land a shot and knock Hooker out. Of course he can, but he's not like, he doesn't fight like Chandler. You know what I mean? He doesn't fight that way. So it's interesting. Aaron Marcus says Islam is going to drag out a decision. I mean, he might try, yeah, for sure. But look, as much as I go for Hooker, I definitely have to say Islam should be probably the favorite, just because of his body of work and the fact that the momentum that he's got behind him. But not a 5-1 favorite. No, I don't see that. And I kind of think that the Hooker can get it done. The Hungarian Hustler says, "Good morning, Fab and Fair One podcast family. Um, I'm excited for this main card. Bring it on. Have a good day all." Thank you, sir. Right back at you. Um, King Carrot says, "Islam about to get kneed." Well, Hooker will be looking for that knee for sure, for sure. Marshall Smarter says, "Hey, my man, it's been busy. It's been busy the last couple of days with starting a new class. How are things here, man? Super busy, man. I actually sent you an email the other day, and apologies for my late reply. Um, Stupid busy, man. I've been like, honestly, very, very, very busy with a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. One foot out the door, the champion bloke that he is says, chipping in on the pay per view. Thank you so much, my friend. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much." Christian Lawrence says, "Hello, great Fab. Hello, great Fab. How are you, mate? It's been ages, mate." Yeah, it has, man. Like I was saying to everyone earlier, it's been a bit nuts, just because yeah, my other baby's about to be born, and so I probably won't be able to do the shows for a few months, because it gets real crazy, man. We're off, people, by the way. We've started Ozdemir versus Ankalev. What a fight this is going to be. I'm going with Ozdemir, just because I think he's a little tidier than Ankalev. Ankalev is a really rough kind of character. Sorry, guys, if I skip a few of the people, just because I'm going to go all the way down, straight down to the fights. Um, the Yeah, I see Ankalev as being a more rough kind of character than super technical, and that kind of leaves him open for a few decisions that kind of got dragged out, and that he's a very, very tough character. But I think Ozdem is a little tidier with his stand up, a little bit more patient, a little bit more methodical. And right now they're fighting orthodox to southpaw, and Ozdemir lands a nice straight right hand down the pipe. Um, Inside leg kick by Ozdemir. Big left hook over the top by Ozdemir, and then Ozdemir feeds him a left uppercut. Now Ozdemir goes to southpaw himself. Ankalev goes looking for a takedown. Good work. His framing with the elbow is Ozdemir. Ozdemir pummels inside. He's framing with the elbow. This is a very good frame. Max Holloway does this very, very, very well. Um, and I don't see Ankalev being able to get Ozdemir down here. I just don't see it. The way that this is going, just the way that they're pummeling, and the fact that Ozdemir knows what to do and he knows how to put his frames up to avoid the takedown. But Ankalev can look to hold him up against the cage and just work him and kind of tenderize him there with knees and whatnot against the cage. Ozdemir is throwing some shots there off the cage himself, but it doesn't have the same purchase that the person that is attacking does. They're back now in the center of the octagon, and again we're looking at an orthodox to southpaw, with Ozdemir being in the orthodox stance. Ozdemir looks much more comfortable of the two on the feet, and he, nice. He switches through That was really, really nice what he did. So he was in orthodox and he kinda lifted his leg to sell the right kick, and then he came over the top with the left hand, but basically from a southpaw stance. What that does, not only does it change the angle when you co Oh! Ankalev drops him with a big shot! Ankalev drops him with a big shot! Real big shot. Ozdemir is up, just playing a really good chin, but that was a big left hand by Ankalev. I think it was a left hand. Um, Very nice shot by Ankalev. And up until this stage, I had Ozdemir winning the striking exchanges with 1 minute and 47 seconds to go. Like that in my opinion, would have won Ankalev the round because that is the most significant strike that did the most damage. It dropped Ozdemir. Now Ankalev's looking to counter Ozdemir coming in. Nice left kick down straight. That front kick when you're southpaw to orthodox is money. It's underused. You know, a lot of guys use it very very well, but very few do. Nice 1-2 by Ankalev again, finding the shot. Nice leg kick by Ozdemir, and Ozdemir is doing a fantastic job. Like I was saying, as he got dropped, of stepping into southpaw and throwing the shots from southpaw, and that changes the angle and also gives you more distance. Um, but yeah, the front kick. There we go. They're right on cue, Ankalev. Yeah, the front kick down the middle like that. It's not a teep kick. It's more like a front snap kick. Is a very, very, very good kick to throw when you're orthodox to southpaw, southpaw to orthodox. Uh, Ankalev's doing a good job of countering, man. He's doing a really good job. He's showing off some really good striking. There's 10 seconds to go, 5 seconds to go, rather. Wow. As you can hear, oh, you can't hear, but I can hear. My daughter just started crying in the background, and that's it's 5 a.m. here. So yeah. Um, Christian, sorry, I'm gonna miss a few guys. Apologies for that. Um, Christian Lorenz says we all hope you're doing well, Fab. The world has become such a different place since 2019. Agreed, sir. Marshall Smarter says round of applause for the expecting father. Thank you, sir. Um, Metal Assassin says, "Damn, feels so good when the fights start around 6 p.m. and not 4 a.m." Yeah, it's they started early for us today, man. Um, Sailor's Clip says Islam doesn't have the same entries that Khabib had. Yeah, they're very different fighters, man. They're very different fighters. The way that they even grapple is very, very different, you know. But it's Hooker's a tough out for anyone. I think, you know. I don't think he's a 5-1 underdog by any stretch of the imagination. You know, like I can't imagine calling Hooker that big of an underdog. So we're off again, second round. Definitely have that first round for Ankalev, in my opinion. Um, with that nice shot at that dropped Ozdemir and Ankalev. Ankalev has like a granite chin, man, because Ozdemir is a big guy and he's landed some shots on Ankalev, and Ankalev just keeps coming forward. And when Ankalev starts to land some shots on Ozdemir, you can see it rattles him, you know. And it's funny, man, because people they're both in the southpaw stance. Some people just their bones, man, the way they're built is just a little different, you know. And they they just hurt more than other people, you know. It's nice from southpaw stance. Ozdemir is has landed a couple of leg kicks now on Ankalev, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Ankalev is a very. That's what I said before. Ankalev is a very rough kind of customer. You know, he's not. He's not he's not technically sound. That's not what I meant. He's just a really, really rough kind of dude. Now Ankalev went to orthodox for a second there. He did, but he's back to southpaw stance, and we're fighting again orthodox to southpaw with Ozdemir being Ozdemir walks into another shot by Ankalev. Doesn't get dropped, but he walked into a nice cheeky right hook there. Um, I think it's imperative that Ozdemir jabs his way in as well. Like he can't kind of walk into that space because Ankela is waiting for him to get into that space and counter, you know. And sometimes Ozdemir's getting a little bit closer than he needs to. Like just even just then, he kind of just took a step, but there was nothing in that middle space. And Ankalev's finding a home for that jab. You know, he's finding a home for the jab on Ozdemir. um, I thought Ozdemir would have the tidier stand up of the two, but um, no, Ankalev is having is the tidier of the two, and he just seems to be made of just harder stuff, man. Like just not that's not a. I mean, Ozdemir looks like a hard man himself. He's not anything, but some people are just made a little bit different, and this dude is got a bit of Wolverine about him. Um, just seems like he's made of rocks and hard stuff. This guy. This is another man that if I won the lotto, I'd get him to just follow me around. Nice big shot by Ankalev. Ankalev is starting to be the one that's pushing forward more and more. He's definitely rattled Ozdemir a couple of times with some of those shots. There was nice little cheeky hook that he lead hook that he does. Nice little jab finds a home. Ozdemir switches to southpaw momentarily, and then nice. See the way that he does that is very, very nice. Ozdemir, he steps into that space from orthodox into southpaw, and then he throws that leg kick, or sometimes he throws a punch. He does that very well, Ozdemir. He gets taken down now by Ankalev, but he's back up to his feet with 58 seconds to go. Yeah, Ankalev is definitely landing the more shots by far. This second round is also his, and so Ozdemir needs a stoppage to win this. And I mean, a stoppage can come. These are big guys, but I don't think he's going to get a stoppage on Ankalev. Not at this stage of the game, but it could happen. We don't know. I think he definitely needs a stoppage to win. There's 23 seconds to go. They're up against the cage. Ankalev goes looking for another takedown, but he's happy. I think he's quite happy to just hold Ozdemir up against the cage. You can see the welts on the right leg of Ankalev. So Ozdemir is finding a good home for those leg kicks, but I just don't think it's going to get the job done in the next 5 minutes. I just don't see it. Um, so sorry guys, I'm gonna miss a few of the people that wrote. Christian Laurent, I don't know, man, about any fights, not anyone, not Rob's or anyone's in particular. Like, um, it's just very difficult right now. You know, like I don't want to do like a fight here and a fight there and da 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 because that's kind of like what I'm doing at the moment. I'm gonna do this week's and next week's, and I don't really want to do that. If I'm gonna do it, I want to do it with continuity. So, um, like I'm also just on a personal level, like I also bought a place and we have to renovate it as well as having the newborn, and obviously in work as well. So that's all going to happen around January, kind of thing, So, um, I can't really say, oh, I can commit to doing anything right for those, those 3-4 months, because I'll be working during the week and we'll have to be renovating and the rest of the stuff during yeah, when it's not. So I don't think I'm going to be able to commit to anything for the next 4 or 5 months. Which sucks because I love doing the podcast. I really really enjoy doing the podcast. Um, I just don't know that yeah that I'll be able to commit to anything right now. I've got quite a bit too much on my plate at the moment. Ankalev pushing Ozdemir back with some powerful kicks. Both guys exchange good kicks there from the orthodox to southpaw stance. Nice leg kick lands by Ozdemir again. Front kick by Ankalev. Again, Ozdemir does that really, really well. He goes looking for that. He shows you that right kick, and then he steps in the southpaw and he lands a left kick to the lead leg of Ankalev's. Big welts on Ankalev's leg, but Ankalev has been landing just the better shots kind of thing. Is just and in my opinion, it is 2 rounds to 1. So unless Ozdemir can get him out of here or hurt him really, really, really bad in this round, but he still has to get him out of there. But he might have to hurt him with the leg kicks, and he's definitely hurt Ankalev with the leg kicks. He definitely has. Like he's stepping a little more gingerly, is Ankalev, but I don't know, he's gonna have to break his leg or something with those kicks. Ozdemir goes looking for a takedown, and Ankalev shrugs it off. Um, oh, big right hand over the top by Ankalev. Man, Ankalev, he's always impressed me, but he's impressed me even more in the way that he's come through with the striking. Like I thought, big shots by Ankalev, taken on the arms by Ozdemir, but that would have rattled you. The I thought that Ozdemir would be able to do what he's doing with the leg kicks and whatnot. I just saw him as a little bit more of a creative striker than Ankalev, but Ankalev is I like, I mean, I knew the same thing that I knew about both guys, but Ankalev is just even tougher. He's he's even tougher than I thought he was. You know what I mean? Like just a real mean, tough dude. Because these leg kicks, man, do not underestimate what those leg kicks from someone like an Ozdemir, the size of that guy, and he can kick well, man. Landing on those front on that front leg of on Ankalev and the way he lands him, he landed them, and Ankalev is just there, and he keeps coming, and he strikes are very tidy, man, very very tidy. I'm really impressed by Ankalev actually, because a few of his fights have been a bit like, um, where it's just mainly been his kind of toughness and his ruggedness that has shone through, but in this scenario, like he's looking very, very, very tidy with his hands and with his combinations. Nice kick to the body by Ankalev. Like again, his toughness is really out there as well in this fight, but I'm really, really impressed with the way he's fighting Ozdemir. Christian Lorenz says, "Wow, mate, thank you for letting us know, man." Yeah, no, I 53 seconds to go now. I want to do it, but like, man, there's just a reality is I'm not going to be able to do every single one of the cards, and I want to just do it. If I do it, I want to do them properly. So I know that the next few months was going to be pretty much out for me. 32 seconds to go. Ozdemir is also bringing it, man. I'm really impressed with Ozdemir, but I'm impressed with Ankalev as well. Like I'm impressed with Ozdemir, man. Like he's definitely, I believe, lost every round, and he's still in there fighting. Ankalev is, man. I have bad knees. Whatever this guy has in his joints, I want it. I want it, man. That's the round. They shake hands. That's it. and Ankalev won every round, in my opinion. Um, Igor says, "Cheers, my friend. Best wishes from Serbia." Kakosi, my friend. Kakosi. Charles Victorinic says, "Cheers, Fab. Good to see you back on the pod. Don't feel obligated if things get busy, bro. Be well." Nah, thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really, really enjoy it. I really love doing it. That's not even difficult for me to do. Like I love doing it with you guys. I love hanging out and watching the fights. I'm be honest with you. I don't like if I have to. I either watch the fights when I watch them. I either watch them by myself I watch. Obviously, I watch it here. I never watch them by myself now because I always do the podcast. So I watch it with you guys. But I cannot go and watch it with at a pub or something or with a bunch of people because it's hard, man. It's hard when you know what you're doing, and I don't know, people just giving opinions and that. It's very very difficult. Um, so I enjoy doing it. I enjoy watching with you guys, but I just don't even see myself being able to watch MMA. I think for the next 3, 4, 5 months. I know how nuts it's going to get my life. It's pretty busy. Got a few projects work wise that are happening in that, and um, yeah, with everything combined, it's just not going to happen. Marshall Smarter says, with my very limited Muay Thai, I can say that that I would seriously grapple to avoid getting kicked like that. Yeah, man. When somebody kicks you and it lands like it lands, it doesn't have to be hard. It just lands on your thigh, and it lands right where their shin chops into your thigh. You feel it. You don't even have to kick hard. You just have to feel it. Um, King Carrot says, "Dude," and Sasank says, "The Glory Collision 3 card was crazy." Yeah, man. I wish I could do them all, but with two babies, it's going to be impossible to do it. I think. Christian Ryan says, "Fab, would you like to see Chimaev take his time today and show a new wrinkle to his game?" Um, if we see a new wrinkle in his game, great. But I just like to see fighters do what they have to do to win. That's my opinion. Sasank says Jan versus Sandhagen is more exciting than the main event. Um, I'm looking for Peter Yan's probably my favorite fighter at the moment, but that Glover fight versus Jan, they're going to bring it, man. They're going to bring it. Christian Lorenz says, "Do you know the boxer John Ennis Fab? He's 27, 25 k's from Philadelphia. He's an amazing fighter who fights tonight with an amazing style." I have heard of him. I have heard of him, but I haven't followed it much, like a lot. King Carrot says, "Fight of the year potential could be." MG says, "Them plebs don't know anything." Am I right? You are right, my friend. You are right, my friend. Um I don't care if people don't know anything. It's when you say for example, if I watch uh I don't know, world championships of rock climbing. I don't know anything about rock climbing. I wouldn't be sitting there going, "Look at this pussy, he's scared to climb the wall." Like like I've never climbed a wall in my life, you know what I mean? So how am I gonna say that? Um Smooth Stone says, "Checking in from Brisbane. Hope all is well, Fab." Thank you, sir. Yeah, no, everything's going good, man. Sasank says, "You have another baby." I do, my friend. I do, and I will do. I will do, and it's gonna get. It's already mad, you know. Marshall Smarter says, "I wanted to throw a guy down the stadium steps when I went to a UFC because of the yapping from behind. I took my wife home and watched it at home with awesome view, disaster avoided, and good camera angles." It's the truth, man. It's the truth. Like I've been cornering guys. I've been in the corner and I can hear people, um, in the background like giving instructions. This is no bullshit. This is 100% true. I was at a fight night once, right? I was cornering someone. I can't remember who I was cornering. It was UFC event, but I was cornering someone, and I'm cornering the dude like with the whole fight team, whichever fight team we were with at the time. Can't really remember. This is going back a long time ago, but there's times in the stadium, especially if it's a prelim card, where it's pretty quiet, and it's surprising what you can hear. and, like, I could hear somebody in the background. I could hear everything that they were saying, and I would turn around and be looking sometimes for the guy, and he was, like, full on giving instructions to the fighters. Like, he'd be like, "Left hook, right uppercut, dip, throw that right hand and circle out, blah, 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 blah." And this is just a guy from the crowd, and he was just sitting there giving instructions. And, I was speaking to a mate of mine, shout out to Rory O'Connell. I was talking to him about it, and he goes to me, "Yeah," he goes, "I" he was in the crowd, right, near the guy, and he was also thinking, "Who the fuck's that?" And what it's like the whole card, he was giving instructions to corner basically from, whatever row, cornering the fighters, and he was just a guy in the crowd yelling at the instruction at the top of his lungs. Now I've got to explain this to you because like it's like me, I'm commentating now. The guy was coaching for 4 hours straight because he did the whole show or however long the whole show takes. And my mate could hear him from the crowd, so he's obviously near him, and I could hear him when my guy fought. I could hear the guy. You know, it's insane. Um, Oh, sorry. Somebody asked. I saw it, but I had to go to the next one. Somebody asked about mullet in a pocket. The mullet in a pocket is made by my friend Joel Forbes. So he's just a little like brand thing that he came up with. It's something his daughters say to each other, and he made the shirt. Yeah, it's a cool shirt, and this is a jumper that he made me. Um, One foot at the door says Lee ain't no joke with 7 knockouts in welterweight. Absolutely, man. He's no joke, you know. Um, so yeah, no, he's no joke at all. No. That's it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting the grappling ability. Hello, I don't know something weird was happening with my camera. Um, I had to change the camera angle. I don't know. Hamza is still like a very much an enigma to me in a lot of ways. Um, I do understand that like he finished third at under 20s in Russia, I believe, and that level is super high, dude. Like I cannot explain to you like how high that would be. Like to finish that basically makes him as an under 20-year-old one of the best wrestlers in the world. Like not like if you get a podium finish at Russian Nationals at under 20s, you're basically one of the best wrestlers in the world. So um it's no joke. And the guy that he beat, the guy that he hit with the uppercut, um Iskram, I can't remember his surname. I'll look it up right now. That guy's a very good fighter, dude. Like a really, really, really good fighter. He knocked Hamzat knocked him out, but Hamzat had a lot of trouble taking him down. Um, but he did end up beating him. And that guy is a very, very good fighter. Ikram Aliskerov. You will hear of him because he's a very, very, very good fighter, man. He'll beat a lot of guys. He'll beat a lot of guys that are in the UFC now. His only loss is to uh, Hamzat. So Hamzat's no joke. The that level of grappling, and there's a lot of guys that are good grapplers, but they can't put it together. And Hamzat can definitely put it together. Um, as a grappler, as a fighter, etc. So yeah, I don't think Lee is any kind of joke at all. No. King Carrot says, "Thank you for saving us from the bias of TC fab." I haven't heard any of the commentating for a long, long time. Christian Lorenz says, "If Hamza wins tonight, who would you like to see him fight next, Magni, or still work his way into the top 15?" I I don't know, man. I don't know. Um, I don't know. I think a lot of it's got to do with how he wins. If he wins, that's because Neil Magny and uh, oh my god, I can't say his name. It's a bit early for me, but Jake Matthews, they both beat Lee as well. So it's interesting to see how he wins. If he goes out there and dismantles Lee uh, in a way that he probably could. He's a big dude as well for that welterweight division. He's almost 1 meter 90. He's not short. You know what I mean? And he's a thick kind of tall. He's not like a stringy tall like dude. No, he's like a big powerful guy that can wrestle. The level of wrestling that is huge. Like a podium finisher in Russia at nationals means you'd make just about any world team. Just about. You know what I mean? Um, and then if you think about that, that's like you might not make the Russian national team, but you might jump a border or two. You make that national team, and you might still medal at worlds. That's how crazy it is. The Russian level is very 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 high, um, and so it's a different level of wrestling. It's a different level of grappling. Like you don't get to see a lot of grapplers of this level. Marshall Smarter says they should put an open sign up for fights at the events to settle disputes and have a postcard Joe Schmo event after on TV. Just pass a brief physical and sign a waiver, license to thrill. That's going to happen, my friend. That's going to happen. That will happen. Gary the Goat says, man, just sounds committed to the craft of cornering. He'll be in the big leagues one day. He may well be. He may well be. Um, One foot at the door says, I'm stuck with rocking a skullet. Um, Guys, why do people come here and put the links? I have to take people off the thing. Um, Marshall Smarter says, "Are you blinking Morse code that you cannot put on these shows because of government oversight, or is it a glitch in the matrix?" It was a glitch in the matrix. Um, Sorry, I'm just gonna. Smooth Stone says, "I feel like we've heard more about Chimaev than we've seen. That said, we've only seen great things. Big fan of the Leech. Would love to see him get the spoil. So excited for this one. Yeah, this is honestly, I'm really excited for this fight. I I agree with you. Like Hamza, you hear only good things, but um, we haven't seen him fight at the top end um, yet. Just haven't. But like I said, that Aliskerov dude is a guy that combat sambo world champion, combat sambo European champion. Um, that fight was at middleweight as well, and that dude is good, man. That Aliskerov dude is good, and his only losses to Hamza. So that guy would come into the UFC and he'd cause some waves for sure. And so um, and Hamza was able to knock him out. But Hamza didn't have it all his way in the grappling either. So it's just going to be interesting to see how this comes about. Um, I'm really really curious because it will answer a lot of questions. Marshall Smarter says exactly what someone with government threats would say. Christian Lorenz says Hamza very well could be the future of 170. Yes, I see him probably moving up. He's a young guy, and he's not a small guy. He's not a small guy for welterweight. He's tall. He's broad. I could probably see him going up eventually. So yeah, I definitely think he could be. I don't know that. Let's see. He's he's um he's not small, man. He's a big welterweight. He's got almost a 4-inch reach advantage against Lee. He's taller as well, so 6'2", and he's a young man, 27 years old. And uh, I can't stress enough like that level of grappling, how high it is now. I can say all of this, and he goes out, and Lee chokes him out. But that level of grappling's high. Minus 600 favorite. Hamzat is super pumped. very confident, super pumped. I feel Lee looks like a mean dude. He just looks like such a mean dude. He's pumped as well. I hope they don't make it a snooze fest. King characters Hamzat's cardio is the big unknown. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things, like that we don't know. You are right, definitely with the cardio. We don't know how he can, if he can fight like that for a prolonged period of time. We're about to start. We're off. People, both men in the orthodox stance. Hamzat moving in and out. Nice double leg. Shoots in so deep on the double leg. He reshoots, goes to the back, picks Lee up, walks him over to the cage. He's talking to people as he's picked him up already, and he's taken the back, and he continues to talk to the crowd. Ties up one of the legs of Lee, and that's what I'm saying. The grappling level here it's high, dude. Like that, how easily he took him down and then just monstered him is interesting, to say the least. Having said that, though, is can he do this for 15 minutes? Or is he going to be able to really impose himself to a point that he stops Lee, or is Lee going to be able to keep doing it? I don't know. This is what we're going to see, but he's very very impressive. The fluidity in which he shot and reshot and then switched to the back was really really interesting, really really nice. He's landing beautiful little shots there on Lee and just tying up his arms and staying on top. This is a very, very important thing. See, so he ties up that leg, but one of the most important things is he just continues to get his head above Lee's head, and that allows him to ride Lee over and land shots. 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go in this first round, and it's been all Hamzat so far. He's tying up Lee's arms, and that thing that he does with that hook, it opens up Lee's leg so that Lee can't get any purchase um, to stand up. But Lee's staying very patient. He's not losing, he's not losing his mind. Man, Hamzat, I'm telling you, Hamzat is another level on the ground like this. In these positions, I haven't seen him on his back. If he gets put on his back, if anyone can, but the way that he's doing this, he's a dangerous individual, man. He's taken the back now of Lee. He's sunk both hooks in. He's trying to flatten Lee out. Lee's a jiu-jitsu black belt, but like I said, the level of grappling of a Hamzat is a different level, dude. Landing a lot of ground and pound on Lee, a lot of ground and pound. Lee is in all sorts of trouble as Hamzat starts to land really serious shots on Lee from these positions. And he's sunk the choke in very, very deep. This choke is in super deep. And the way that he's got this, I think, yeah, it's super deep, man. It's super deep. Lee's got the angles a little bit, but I don't see Lee being able to get out of this. No, 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 he's not gonna get out now. Oh, he did. Good on you, Lee. And Hamzat goes again. This one's in deep, and Lee's out. Lee's out. Man, Hamzat is a different animal, dude. I'm telling you now. He's a different animal, man. I'm telling you, like when I'm saying at the start, like the level of wrestling and grappling that we're talking about when people talk about like someone being like finishing at at the levels that he has, like as a junior, you know, it's so high. Like I've been to worlds many, many, many times, in in for wrestling, when I was coaching and whatnot, and that level is so fucking high, dude. And if you finish 3rd in Russia at a World Juniors level, it's it's stupid high. It's ridiculously high for you to finish at that. You would make just about any other national team for under 20s, and then if you can transition early enough. So this guy's a world level wrestler, that transitioned as a youth over to MMA. So he's still young guy when he transitioned over to MMA, but he also wrestled in Sweden, and he wrestled in the 90 kilos, like above 90 kilo division. He said he's not a small guy, man. He's not a small guy either. He's a proper beast, man. Gary the Goat says they just said in 4 UFC fights there's been one strike landed on Jemayev. Yeah, he's a monster. Um, See, Christian Lawrence says Jemayev would give a good fight to anyone at 170 in the top three. I don't. Again, I still don't know. Do you know what I mean? I still don't know. Um, he's a monster, man. I'm telling you right now. But the thing that I don't know about him is I still haven't seen him have like a. It's not his fault that he's that good, but I still haven't seen him have like a proper fight, and that's not on him. You know what I mean? Like he could probably fight again tonight, if someone pulls out. Uh, you know, and like I don't think he seems like overtly like a dickhead. Like he seems like he's just like one of those people that's like metabolizes energy on a different level than others, but he doesn't seem like an overt dickhead. Anyways, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Um, but yeah, it's man, like like I said, I can't stress it enough. I can't stress what that level is, and he's been able to apply that because there are guys that wrestle that can't fight. That's a different thing. But he seems to have really been able to grasp the the grappling abilities, that he did and funnel that into something applicable in MMA. I haven't seen, like I said, I haven't seen him fight when somebody he's able to push back. That's going to be interesting against these guys in the upper echelons of that division. So he got the body lock on Lee here, and I could see him already talking to people, like when he picked him up, you know, and he's threw him to the ground and can continue to talk. But I've like I said to you, like I've seen it. I've seen that level of and I've seen guys at World Juniors that win World Juniors 1 year and win World Seniors the next. So that's how high level under 20s is in the world of wrestling. So all guys that wrestle under 20s are still eligible to wrestle under 20s, and then they go up. They're kicking ass in the senior circuit as well. So it's not this level is high. I don't know. I don't know who's going to give him um a good run. I really don't know. Um because like I said, I haven't seen him against someone that can push back. That I mean, I thought Lee could, but yeah. MG says started talking to Dana or someone when he was holding him up in the air. That confidence. Christian Ryan says yes, MG, no respect at all. Hamza is an absolute savage. MG says I don't want to rush him versus Kamaru yet, but he has the potential to beat everyone else. It can happen. Yeah, like Kamaru. I think right now I'd have to favor him just because of who he is, but I want to see more of Hamzat. I definitely do. Um, Yeah, Marshall Smartest, he definitely does it his way. Yeah, no, I definitely want to see more of Hamzat for sure. Um, King Carrot says Hamzat versus Colby, please. You see, those that kind of fight would be very, very interesting one. It'd be very, very interesting. I think Hamzat is a better wrestler, if they were to wrestle each other, but um, I don't know if Colby has, like he's definitely got the wrestling and the grappling. Like Colby's no joke as a grappler. He Colby Covington, not only is he an All American wrestler, but he was a gold medalist at filler grappling as well. Which the guy can grapple. He's a very, 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 very good grappler. So I'm very interested to see Hamzat versus someone like that can you know push back. Um, Christian Lawrence says Fab, has Russia produces more savages than any other country thus far? Um, Russia has a lot of savages, man, but there's a lot of good fighters, dude. There's a lot of good fighters out there from different countries and from small countries like Cuba. Cuba produces some amazing fighters. You just like you don't see a lot of them turn pro, but you see them like in the amateur circuits in wrestling and judo and boxing and whatnot. They're always producing some really good fighters. The whole step, like the whole people of the step, absolute savages. Like all the way from like China, like Inner Mongolia, to all the way through. All the way through the Eurasian steppe. Um, and anyway, man, like there are so many good fighters. Um, so yeah, no, very man, super, super, super impressed by Hamza. My God, and with the way he shot that double leg and then reshot it was just like he shot and he kind of just reshot and got in deeper and then just took the back and picked him up and bombed him. So Sank says the crew Jan hangs out with all look like gangsters. Yeah, I don't know. Volkov versus Tibura. I don't know. I think Volkov should win that one, but Tibura always impresses me, man. He always he always brings it as well. Like I think Volkov is a real difficult kind of fighter. He's tall and he hits hard, and he's got those kicks, and he just makes a fight awkward. But Tibura has always impressed me. Marshall Smarter says the steppe is such an underappreciated geographical place divided by geopolitical lines, but the people are mad. Yeah, and you know what it is as well with that, the melting pot of cultures like that bridge between Asia and Europe, and you know, in some parts, like when you get further along, like the Arab Peninsula, it just has such a mix of people, that are such they're closer to the cutting edge, of physical evolution. I think they like they're just built different, dude. Honestly, even my daughter, I look at her and I just think like, mate, you're made for combat because she wakes me up in the morning, and I have delicate features, mate. I'm not made for combat. I'm made to be prancing on a prairie somewhere, or redesigning shelves. I'm built like a more like a interior decorator than a warrior. But my daughter, when she wakes me up in the morning, she puts her fingers in my eyes, and I open my eyes like that, and she's got like her little face, like right in my face, and she's got like it's like a broad, so she's got like a broad face with like thick bones. My wife's family, like they're Chinese Russian, but they're from Inner Mongolia, and yeah, my daughter's got like thick joints, like my wife's side of the family, like they got like thick joints and big hands and that, and she's made for combat, and I am not, and I just look at it like her face is like, but she's a little girl, so she acts like a little girl, but she's made to fight people, man. Um, Yeah, they're just that mixture, that melting pot of people. I think also adds to just like like how could I say this? Just the mixture of people is just an incredible mix of people that you don't really get, and that's happened over thousands and thousands and thousands of years of evolution. So it's just an interesting place. Um, Mark Few says Hamza the Wolf. Yeah, man, he's a. I think he'll eventually go up to middleweight, though. I do think that. I think he'll he'll either win the belt or fight for the belt, but I think eventually he'll move up. You see his frame. See when people talk about like people's size and whatever, da da da. You see his frame and the weight that he competed at in freestyle wrestling. Even in Sweden, he competed in the 90s. Um, and he's fought before at middleweight. Uh, I see him moving up into middleweight for sure. Um, Oliver Ekman says we are being spoiled by the UFC. Awesome free card today and an awesome one next weekend. Handsome Fat Boy says this has to put Hamza in the welterweight rankings, right? If so, who you think should be next for him in the top 10? I I don't know, man. I don't know who should be next for him because I want to I definitely want to see him fight. I like honestly with the amount of hype behind him and then his performance tonight, I want to see him fight someone in the top 5. Um, I'd like to see him fight. A fight I'd like to see him, and this is just me. Because see, there's fights out there that are hard for him, man. Like Gilbert Burns is a hard fight for him, dude. It's not all the way easy for him at welterweight. And I say, man, Gilbert Burns was a world champion in jiu-jitsu, and he whacks hard, man. He hits real hard as well. In those first 4 or 5 minutes, he really cracks. So Gilbert Burns would be a real tough fight for Hamza, because on the ground, if he will out wrestle Gilbert Burns for sure, but then on the ground, it's a different story. Gilbert Burns is a different story to other normal jiu-jitsu guys. So I don't know. I don't know. Can he do that to Gilbert Burns? I don't think so. So that would be an interesting fight. That would be a real interesting fight. Um, Marshall Smarter says delicate features. Mate, I call it like I see it. Gary the Goat says, just imagine Fab prancing on a prairie, and that was delightful. Thank you, sir. Oliver Ekman says, also great to see Fab back. Marshall Smarter says, competitive evolutionary pressures. Absolutely, sir. That's 1000% spot on. Like, it's just, and the people there still live like this you still have like people that live like nomadic kind of indigenous lifestyles, throughout the steppe. It got me thinking of the prairie. So it's just like a real interesting place, man, and you can see it in like their features, and that you can see like the 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 mix, the melting pot of people. um Luis Enrique says Fab is Chimaev a weight bully. No, he's a big guy though. He's a big guy cutting down to welterweight. But no, I don't think he made the weight. You know what I mean? So he made the weight. Schwet Lord says Hamzat has absorbed one punch in 4 fights. That is some statistics. Yes, sir. Yes, it is. MG says Kiesa Magni Wonder Boy. Yeah, see, Kiesa, I I see Hamzat. Nothing against Kiesa. I really like Kiesa as a fighter, but I see Kiesa as like a kind of like a diet Hamzat. You know what I mean? Because I don't see Kiesa outstriking Hamzat. I don't see Kiesa outgrappling Hamzat. And Kiesa fights like Hamzat. He fights very similar to Hamzat, but he's just not as good at it as Hamzat. Now, is it a foregone conclusion that Hamzat will win? No, I don't think so. But I just don't see. Yeah, And Magni, after having seen this like this, I don't see Magni being able to stop that grapple of Hamzat either. Wonder Boy would be interesting if Wonder Boy can keep that on the feet. Those three guys are um, like I see him still like having seen Gilbert Burns take Wonder Boy down and whatnot. I see that Chimaev will be able to do that to Wonder Boy as well. But with all due respect to all of those fighters, the one that I see that really has the avenue to win out of those three is Wonder Boy if he can keep the fight on the feet. Whereas with Kessa Magni, even if they were to keep the fight on the feet, I don't necessarily favor them overall with the striking versus Hamza. Having said that, what is interesting about these three guys is that they probably have the enough skills and toughness to get this fight into the later rounds. And then it'd be about answering some questions from Hamzat, to see how he would develop, how he would deal with that adversity. I'm pretty sure he can, and I'm pretty sure he will. But I haven't seen him do it in the UFC. Having said that, like I can assure you that you don't finish in the top three in Russia at under 20s without being able to deal with adversity and guys that can pressure back. They definitely can. So I'd actually I wouldn't mind seeing him against one of those guys. I'd probably go with Wonder Boy because Kesa Magni, he will. I believe he'll out grapple them. He'll out wrestle them, and I'm not going to really see anything that I haven't seen already from him as a grappler. I know the level of grappler that he is. Um, with Wonder Boy, it would be interesting to see if he can get if he gets one if he can't get Wonder Boy down because of the footwork and whatnot that Wonder Boy has. What happens there? Because Wonder Boy can really strike. Having said that, I see Hamza being able to take him down, and if he takes him down, I do see him doing a number on him as well. Um, yeah, if he jumps the gun or jumps the gun, like if he may be ready for Gilbert Burns, Gary the Goat. So I don't know. Maybe that fight, him versus Gilbert Burns, will if he beats Gilbert, it's a different conversation altogether. You know what I mean? Because if he beats Gilbert, I don't. With all due respect to anyone else in that division, I don't see anyone beating him. You know what I mean? Um, but there are guys, man. There are guys in those divisions that can create a lot of problems for you. Like that welterweight division is no joke. So very interesting, man. Very interesting. How he matches up with some of those top guys. It's interesting. Gary the Goat says, but Burns is coming up from lightweight. Surely the size difference would be big. Burns though now he's not coming up from lightweight anymore. He's been at welterweight for a long time, and at welterweight he looks completely different. It doesn't even look like the same person that he was at lightweight. So no, I think he'd be fine. I don't think so. I think he's a bigger guy. I think Himaev is a bigger guy, but Burns is definitely like a true welterweight. Marshall Smarter says Gilbert got thick. He will be fine, definitely. Sailor's Clip says Burns hasn't exactly shown some crazy submission skills like Oliveira so far. He just lay and prayed on Wonder Boy for a full round. Um, Well, he didn't lay and prey on him. He tried to hold him down, definitely, which is not it's not an easy task when you're grappling someone that just wants to get up. Um, but don't doubt Gilbert's jiu-jitsu abilities. Gilbert's jiu-jitsu ability is very, very fucking real. He's got wins over some amazing guys in the gi and without a gi, whatever. He's a very, very, very accomplished grappler. So we're off, people. Tibura in the southpaw stance switches back to orthodox. Volkov. Oh, big left hook lands by Tibura. This is what I mean with Tibura. Tibura's a monster, dude. Like I, I, I have to go with Volkov. Just I do, just because he's just thing. But Tibura is Tibura. You don't know with him what he's going to do. Because I thought there's been a few fights where I thought, no, he won't win, but he does. Nice little calf kick by Tibura. That front kick down the middle. Oh, left hook lands by Volkov. Volkov threw that front kick down the middle. And this is where it gets interesting because Volkov standing in the orthodox stance and Tibura standing in the southpaw stance leaves him open for some of Volkov's best weapons, which is the front kick. And I think as this fight progresses, whenever Tibura switches to southpaw, he's very open for that front kick down the middle from Volkov, and Volkov will throw it. And he only has to land a few to really start to slow you down. You know, 1-1-2 from Volkov. Tibura comes looking in for that hook again. And these guys, man, they're so big. There's that front kick every time, and you watch every time he goes to southpaw, he's open for that because it's just the way that it happens. Tibura goes looking for a takedown. Volkov gets the underhooks again with a little left hook from Tibura. Both guys eyeing each other off. Tibura once again goes looking for that double leg. And man, this is something that people don't understand. Like you go for a double leg like this on a huge guy and you don't get it, right? You don't get it. It really starts to take your energy away. This holding up against the cage is absolutely grueling. Um, and right now, the length and the levers on Volkov are working really, really well for him. He was able to just to lean over and have just his bum on the cage and is able to create enough space to be able to circle off the cage. And as this fight progresses, I do think that the length of Volkov is just going to start to create a huge advantage against Tibura because the shots start to land. The shots start to land, and the range starts to be found. And Volkov's very good at making people fight at his range. He's such a tall man, and his shots are heavy. His kicks are heavy. Tibura went for a double leg, and Volkov was able to get this fight down. And now Volkov's on top. Tibura's jiu-jitsu is not bad. It's not bad, but Volkov knows what he's doing, and he's flat. He's basically what he's done is kept him flat. He doesn't want the when you have that underhook from half guard, you don't want the guy to be able to get onto his right shoulder and start to work or to be able to post. So what Volkov is doing is making sure that he keeps Tibura's shoulders flat on on the canvas, and so that negates that left underhook. He's trying to frame here to get some space to land some shots. Even this is like even if he's not getting damage on Tabura, that isometric hold where he's just holding on to Volkov so that Volkov can't get space, and Volkov's trying to frame is extremely tiring for Tibura, extremely tiring. And then you're going to have to get up in this second round and punch as well. So good job by Volkov thus far. And this will be definitely taxing, especially at heavyweight, man. These are huge men. Huge, huge men. Volkov's done a great job. I'm really impressed. Volkov just squared him up and flattened him on his back. Um, Oliver Ekman says, "Yeah, but we know that Burns has that insane skill." Yeah, definitely. And not only do we know, but Hamza going into that fight would know that the level of jiu-jitsu. So I don't know how that would change what Hamza does. You know what I mean? Because especially early in the fight, also Burns would back himself, going, "Yeah, you know what? I'm good. No matter what happens, if he takes me down, I've got I've got the jiu-jitsu that I have, so I'm good. So he can come out and really try and blast Hamzat out of there with like he did to Usman. I don't know. I don't know. I think, that fight's a very interesting fight to me. Thank you, Marshall Smartest. Hamza, yeah. Schwetlord says, "How large do you think the difference in level of is between the top flight jiu-jitsu guys in UFC and guys like Craig Jones and Gordon Ryan?" Huge, fucking huge, dude. Unless you're talking about another jiu-jitsu guy that fights in MMA, like that won mundials or something. But like a guy like Craig Jones, he like his level of jiu-jitsu compared to like a really good UFC jiu-jitsu guy is not on the same planet. Gordon Ryan's and all that. No, it's a completely different level. The same way that if you got the guy that won Russian nationals and he wrestled Khabib, he would it wouldn't even be close, dude. It wouldn't even be close. And that's the thing. But it's different in a fight. It's a different story. Again, it's a completely different story. Um, yeah, the level is hugely different. But can they apply it? You know what I mean? He might not be able to apply the wrestling against Khabib. He might not be able to apply your jiu-jitsu. Like if Craig Jones fought a dude like a good, like I don't know, someone at 185 or something like that has decent jiu-jitsu but is a much better fighter than him. Like Craig Jones' stand up is not that level. You know what I mean? So it's all the other factors that come into it. But if you're talking about Craig Jones in jiu-jitsu versus a good jiu-jitsu guy in the UFC, it's a fucking joke. It wouldn't even be close. I've seen him roll with MMA fighters that are good jiu-jitsu, like have good jiu-jitsu, black belts, etc. And it's a fucking joke. I'm telling you, it's a fucking joke. And that's nothing against the fighters. It's just the fact that Craig Jones does that to good jiu-jitsu guys. So now both boys slugging it out in the middle. But like I said to you, I think that Tibura's starting to tire. I think that was a tough round for him, that first round. And Volkov's starting to find his range. And Volkov definitely won that first round. But see, Volkov is so tall that when he leans over like that, just puts his bum on the cage, he's he's already he's already off the cage. See, look, he'll lean over like this, and then he can just turn. He can just take a step. That's anyone can do that, but Volkov is very tall and he's big as well as being tall. He's he's starting to hurt Tibura, I think. Um, Tibura looking for this single leg. These elbows would hurt so much, man. Yeah. Oh, Tibura lands some nice shots on Volkov. But Volkov is a tough dude. He's a tough out. Looks like a baddie in like a James Bond film. There's that front kick when Tibura's in the southpaw stance. Volkov ducks under the lead left hook of Tibura. Tibura goes looking for a left hand, knees up the middle by Volkov. Tibura does not look like he's in good way right now. Like his legs are starting to wobble out from underneath him. I think he's very exhausted and he's taken a quite a fair bit of punishment from Volkov. Volkov ties up the lead hand of Tibura's by holding it, so it takes away the jab and it also takes away his ability to move in and out, and gives Volkov a really good ability to gauge where Tibura's at. Tibura landed a nice little combination there, and then got hit with a jab on the break. Oh, nice little 1-2 by Tibura. Tibura's still landing shots though on Volkov. Oh, lands another lead left hand and switches to orthodox. 1 minute to go. Nice little jab by Volkov. Both guys have slowed down considerably. Oh, nice jab landed by Volkov. But Tibura keeps coming, and Tibura is finding home for his left hook when he does. Tibura once again goes looking for a double leg. This is absolutely exhausting. I'm telling you right now. Like if he can't finish the the takedown and get a chance to breathe. Get a chance to stop the fight. When I say stop the fight, I don't mean finish Volkov necessarily right off the bat. Just like stop the movement, and that's the round. Marshall Smarter says the difference is that the best guys in the UFC get sub 10 out of 10 times to the best BJJ guys under BJJ rules. Marshall Smarter says BJJ for MMA is different. Um, yeah, it's not close. Best BJJ for MMA is a good question though. Yeah, that absolutely. It's the same as wrestling or kickboxing or whatever. Like the top kickboxers versus the top MMA strikers, big difference. Unless you're talking about guys that are actual strike that were able to apply their high end striking to MMA. But in general, no, the specialists is a big difference. The big difference, man. In general, like there might be one or two guys that are super gifted, but yeah, it's not close. Like that I can assure you. Okay, I am skipping a few. Sorry, people. That's a good point, Marshall Smartest. Craig Jones broke Vinny Magahale's legs. Vinny was a solid ass UFC light heavyweight with foolishly good jiu-jitsu, broke his leg like easily. Yeah, and Vinny's jiu-jitsu is better than most people's jiu-jitsu. Like he's a world-class jiu-jitsu guy himself. Um, but Jones is different level to Vinny. And it depends on rules as well with jiu-jitsu because Craig Jones, like no gi, those types of rules like ADCC rules, perfect for Craig. Um, if you're talking actual traditional BJJ with a gi, I think Vinny would probably beat him because it takes away a lot of the leg locks that Craig does, and um, Craig's not a gi specialist. And now more and more and more, gi and no gi are becoming two different sports, like Greco-Roman wrestling and judo kind of thing. Um, so yeah, but if we're talking about no gi grappling, different animal, dude. Completely different animal. Now Tibura's coming on in this third round. That second round, I don't know who won that second round. To be honest with you, the first round was clearly Volkov, but man, you don't know the second round. It could be up for grabs. I don't know. Now Volkov has stopped the takedown. He hasn't gone up against the cage, and I was just about to say that. And I think his corner must have mentioned that to him. He can't get pushed up against a cage like that by Tibura. Tibura, might be able to win that in the hands of the judges. I don't know. Interesting, man. The way like Tibura keeps coming forward. Ooh, it lands a nice little left hand, does Tibura. Gets double underhooks, does Volkov. Volkov has to get off the cage, or he could lose himself the fight. You don't know how the second round was scored. Tibura went looking for a takedown, but Tibura's exhausted as well. This is what's interesting. Both these guys are pretty tired. Volkov's starting to land some combinations on Tibura. Tibura's in all sorts of trouble. See, that flurry there, I think, probably won Volkov the round and the fight. You know what I mean? That and he needs but to solidify this, he needs to go he needs to land this again. He needs to land another combination like that. There we go, the 1-2 by Volkov. When Volkov lands those shots, they like, ooh, and then Tibura comes looking for it himself. Volkov cannot think that he's ooh, spinning stuff by Tibura. Volkov can't think that he's got this in the bag. You know, he has to if he wants to win this fight, he has to make sure that he keeps landing those shots because Tabura's still coming. You know, he's the one that's coming forward. I think Volkov has won the fight. Don't get me wrong, but you don't know how it's scored. Nice combination landed by Volkov again. Nice. Volkov's coming forward now. It's a real slow paced fight. 4 seconds to go. That's the bell, people. I believe Volkov won that fight. People, I'm just going to refill my water. I'll be back. Um, Oliver Ekman says, I really want Hooker to win, but don't really see it happening. Probably Islam decision. Um, Marshall Smarter says Dan will accept brain damage. Look, I don't know, man. I don't know that. What I do know is that I definitely wouldn't make Dan Hooker a 5-1 or 6-1 underdog or whatever it was that he was. Um, the Lee one, whilst I didn't think Lee was a joke, I I think that there was still quite a bit of a difference in the two of them. Like I could see him being a big underdog, but yeah, but not Islam and Hooker. No, I don't see it. I don't see the difference between the two of them being that massive. You know, they're different types of grapplers. Him and Khabib. You know, um, but Hooker's got good stand up, dude, and he can grapple as well. Yeah, he can definitely grapple. Tough dude is Hooker, man. Very, very, very tough guy. Hits hard, he hits hard. He's smart with the way he strikes. Very, very good fighter. And those knees up the middle is going to make it very, very difficult. Marshall Smarter said, if Islam gets the body lock, I give it 5-1. If I definitely think if if the wrestling exchanges really start to occur, I do favor Islam in the fight. As far as like, obviously he's a better wrestler, but I'm saying like um that starts to tire you out if you can't wrestle at that level or grapple at the level that the other guy can, and that starts to really wear you down. So yeah, if those exchanges start to occur, yeah, but it's hard, man. Hooker's very long as well. He's long and he knows how to use it. So yeah, that's one of those things. Marshall Smarter says one sport that being the underdog actually has a worse consequences is MMA. Can you explain that? Can you um, say what you mean by that? Good fighter, man. Very, very good fighter. I'll be back in 1 second. I'm going to get a pair of socks. I'm freezing. Ariel says Islam does not want any part of Hooker in the stand up. I definitely favor Hooker in the stand up for sure. But having said that, Islam's stand up is not untidy either. But I definitely favor Hooker in the stand up. And those knees on the way in are going to be very, very interesting. Man, I am freezing, eh? It's fucking cold. It's cold. Marshall Smarter says underdog in basketball, you get dunked on. Underdog in football, someone scores a touchdown, etc., etc. You lose 6-0. Underdog in MMA and a high percentage chance of anatomical changes. I agree. Um, Ren Mitchell says, I'm wearing t-shirt and shorts in NZ. Nah, mate. No, I'm freezing, dude. I'm so cold. And it's probably not even that cold. It's probably 11 degrees or 12 degrees Celsius where I am. Um, it's not that cold, but for me, that's cold. Um, Gary the Goat says, I can't believe we have this fight, fight, then Błachowicz fight. What a card. It was a good card, man. It was a good card. Hamza is very impressive, man. Very, very, very impressive fighter. I'm been wanting to see him fight for a while. Marshall Smarter says, I'm wearing for boxers in Canada. Ariel says, I'm rooting for Hooker, man. He's a good guy. I want him to win. Is he from NZ or Australia? From New Zealand. He's from New Zealand. Um, Big reach advantage for Hooker. Um, so interesting. Gary the Goat says, same in California and Marshall Smarters. Cheers. Man, I'm cold. Calming meditation sound says, I think one day most of the divisions will have Russian champions. Maybe, maybe. I think you're going to see the level really go up in MMA. And I think there's, like, Russia has really, really good combat background, you know what I mean? And it's got, like, a lot of good combat programs. Eugene Arn says, what is your prediction for the fight? I've got no prediction for the fight. I really don't know. Um, I think that the odds are too crazy with Islam. I I'm not saying that he's not shouldn't be the favorite. He probably can should be the favorite, but I think that Hooker is massively underrated in this fight. Massively, you know. So look for knees, look for good strikes from Hooker. Um, yeah, we're about to start. We're gone. We're out. They touch gloves. Hooker in the orthodox stance and Islam in the southpaw stance. Hooker's fainting well. Islam's in close range already, you know. Hooker looks quite a bit bigger than Islam, man. He looks a lot bigger than Islam. Nice inside kick by Hooker. 4 minutes and 35 seconds to go in this round. Man, this fight's got me edge of my seat. Nice little jab by Hooker. Gets a takedown, does Islam, and crawls his way up. He's already grabbed control of Hooker's wrist and he's moved Hooker. He's tied up Hooker's legs and he's flattened Hooker out. Like this is the thing, man, with being on your back. You don't want to be flat on your back. And Islam's done a very good job of flattening Hooker out. Hooker's got one butterfly in. I don't know. The thing that's happened here as well is the half guard that's occurred here from Mahashev is on the weak side. Generally, that's the weak side of most people. That's not the side that you're most used to playing half guard on. You usually play it on the other side. So it's gonna be a little bit harder for Dan to even mobilize an offense from this position because you don't even if you practice more, you're not usually used to that position. And he's got the good head control, has Mahashev as well. So that shoulder pressure there that you're seeing from him, that's a very, very good way of flattening out the person. And this isn't jujitsu necessarily. It's not like Mahashev just is trying to pass the guard or you know or die. He's in a very, very powerful controlling position in this situation. He's looking for this Kimura here, and now he's passed, and he's got this Kimura in pretty deep, but he hasn't got control of the head here. It's going to make it a little bit more difficult to finish the Kimura. Now he's got control of the head. Now this Kimura's on. It's done. It's finished. It's done. Fucking tap. Yes. Oh, mate, that was fucking incredible, dude. Because I've got all the respect in the world for Hooker, man. Hooker is a savage. You saw him fight Poirier. You saw him fight those guys. And Mahashev did what he did. You don't understand how good. Because the Hamza fight is one thing, right? It's cool. I'm not taking anything away from Li Jiangling, but like, dude, this guy Hooker has fought everyone and done well, and Mahashev just you don't understand how good Dan Hooker is. You know what I mean? And that there, my friend, is a different animal as well. Like you saw you saw him fight. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know. Actually speechless, which is hard. You saw Hooker fight Poirier. You've seen Hooker fight a lot of different people, and Mahashev did that. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm devastated for Hooker. Yeah, if Dan didn't tap, that arm was gonna shatter, dude. Like that was incredible. Very, very, very high level grappling here from Islam Mahashev. That was beyond impressive, dude. Marshall Smarter says, "Don't get to see much with that kind of grappling pressure." Nah, nah, nah. That's different, dude. That's a different animal. I can't explain that like to people that don't get that. Like Dan Hooker's good, dude. Like Dan Hooker's good. Like he would grapple and out grapple like normal black belts quite easily. I don't care what belt he is, like purple belt, whatever they're giving him. Dan Hooker's been like grappling 15 years, easily 10 years, however long. Like he's been grappling for a long, long time. I've seen him fight years and years ago. He's a very good grappler, like a good grappler. You've seen him in the UFC tap out a lot of people. He's got a lot of submission wins, and this dude did what he did, and everyone knew that he was going to look for the takedown, look for a submission. That's an incredibly impressive performance by Mahashev. Like incredible, incredible, incredible performance. And Dan Hooker is a big, strong dude, man. That arm almost went. Um, MG says lots of people trying to be contrarian. Islam is no one near as good as Khabib. Overrated. Yeah, I don't think that. I think his grappling is very very different to Khabib. It's a different type of grappler. Um, Oliver Ekman says, "Yeah, man, that was crazy." Marshall Smarter says, "Half butterfly is cool, but it can be smashed past. Need to switch to classic half guard and win an underhook before that pass." Yeah, but he was never going to do that um with Islam, and he wasn't going to do it on the weak side either. Like it's being that it's not jujitsu as well, like it's hard if you get flattened out on your back. And Islam knew exactly what to do. He had that shoulder pressure on as well, and is able to put him flat on his back. Like very, 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 very impressive the way he did that. Um, Joseph says, Coach had to cut my road work short because I saw the notification. What's going on? What did I miss? Man, we've had a good card, man. You had the two big highlights of the card was this fight that just went, Islam Makhachev versus Dan Hooker, where Islam got an amazing Kimura finish, and Hamza choked Li Jiangling out unconscious. So very very impressive. Corey versus Errol, you're messing up the names, man. Um, but yes, this next fight's going to be very very crazy. Jan versus Sanhagen. I'm going for Jan. I really like watching Jan fight, but I think Sanhagen's a real tough out for him. A real tough fight for him. Didn't Sorry, I haven't been like I've been all over the place. How did this fight come about? Didn't Sanhagen lose to TJ Dillashaw? At least Lee and Hooker can go get a beer or something now. Errol, man, that was crazy. Ren Witchell says, I'm glad Dan was respectful in the lead up. That could have been a lot worse. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. That was crazy, dude. That Kimura was in so deep. Sasank says that Dillashaw was given the fight was coming off surgery. Ah, I see. Okay, all right. Oliver Ekman says if we really think about it, we just get the Peter fight faster. Um, Ariel says I have Peter Yan winning. Yeah, I tend to think that Peter Yan will probably win, but I think Corey Sanhagen is a difficult kind of fight for him. It's just so long, and he's got the big knees coming up the middle, and Peter likes to come in and punch. And he's a big puncher. So yeah, I don't know. Sailor's Clips says Islam had Hooker's other arm trapped too. I'm glad he screamed his submission. He probably would have gotten his arm broken. Dude, if they didn't stop that fight, that arm was going to be a mess, dude. That arm was going to be an absolute mess. Um, yeah, that was. I'm looking forward to next week's fight as well. Joseph said, by the way, thanks again for the neon sign, coach. You're welcome, mate. About to set it up by next week. Just need to change the voltage from 220 to 120 volts. Ah, Christian Lorenz says, reminded me of me versus Big Nog. Insane. Yeah, but that fight, me versus Big Nog was was different. It wasn't because me didn't like me got dropped himself. You know what I mean? It was more back and forwards. But this fight was like it was all Islam. I can't even believe that he did it that well. I'm really surprised at how well he did it. I'm really, really surprised. Um, Honestly, look, Sasank, I'm just going to say this. Like, now City Kickboxing is a fantastic team. They do really, really well. Um, they lose one fight and this fight now, and people, oh, if they had this person at the club or they had that person at the club, like it's real disrespectful to the people that they have at the gym already. And like people lose fights, man. You know what I mean? And Islam's a fucking monster. So like they got a fantastic gym that doesn't lose a lot of fights. Um, so like it's one of those things that he lost the fight, man. That's it. Move forward. He's also won a ton of fights as well. Christian Lorenz says, "Do I watch the embedded fights? Um, the embedded episodes? No, no, no. I don't. Christian Lorenz says, "You're right. Me got caught the insane double scramble to Kimura arm break by me. Yeah, that fight was more backwards and forwards. This was like straight. Like it was weird, dude. It was such a weird fight for me to watch because I know how good Dan Hooker is. Um, Marshall Smarter says, Fab, what is considered a big neck circumference by you? You know, they I think the Spartans used to say like the the calf, your your arm, like at the bicep, and your neck should be the same thickness. And so it depends. Like you can't have a 20-inch neck if you're like a 45er. You know what I mean? But it's some like yeah. Like so, I think anyone that has a neck that falls outside of the like calf and arms will tend to have a thick neck. Um, we've witnessed two maulings by the Russians tonight. Yes, sir, we did. Oliver Aikman says, God, I'm excited for this fight. Should be crazy. Ariel says, when you fight Sanhagen, you know that knee's going to hit you, so you got to brace for it. Joseph says, I feel for Dan, a big fan of him, but at the end of the day, even with the tough losses, I think Dan is still as deadly as ever. Looking forward to his next fight. Yeah, I I think so as well. Like I think you know Dan Hooker's always going to be a tough out, but I think Islam showed that he's quite a few levels above just about anyone there in grappling. Now, having said that, again, it becomes interesting against the Charles Oliveira type character whose jiu-jitsu is very good off his back. And so he can go out there and strike with impunity. He can go out there and jump flying knees if he wants. Having said that, though, I don't know if the level of impunity is such where because you guys like Kevin Lee and that have from the top been able to survive against Oliveira as well. Um, would I like to see Gaethje versus Chandler bloodbath? I think that it might not even be a bloodbath because they both hit hard. It could just be boom, it's over. Ren Mitchell, um, CKB is most likely leaving New Zealand because of the MIQ bullshit. Not that the whole world isn't affected by COVID, though. Still supporting Dan and the boys. Christian Lawrence says Islam versus Oliveira will be interesting. Yes, it will. Marshall Smartest, that's cool. My neck is growing weird, but I like it. Good for you, man. Good for you. Joseph says, Coach, can I sneak this one in your thoughts on? Can I sneak this one in your thoughts on Wei Ling versus Thug Rose? Um, I think that Thug Rose is a tough fight for any girl at that weight. You know what I mean? I do. I think she's one of the few girls that as a small girl carries power to stop you with shots, and that is a massive, massive game changer in women. Um, like if you carry power in your hands, like proper power, like and she hits hard. Um, that's a massive game changer. And then she's very well rounded. Ariel says, I think Islam would beat Oliveira. I tend to think that Islam would beat Oliveira as well. Rayan says, who's got the fight, Islam or Dan? Islam just beat Dan, just ran through him. And I'm a huge fan of Dan Hooker. I think he's a fantastic fighter. Um, Christian Lorenz says, Fab, if Frankie Edgar loses to Marlon Vera next weekend, should he start contemplating leaving the game? However, he's very hard to beat in New York. Um, I don't know, dude. I can't say that. Like, I can't say, oh, he should retire or not. Um, I don't know what his situation is. I do think that though that there's times where um you have to weigh up the cost of what you're doing. You know, I don't think it should be based off whether you win or lose because, like, your brain doesn't give a shit if you won or lost the fight if you're taking more damage. So it's one of those things with people like people only talk about people when they lose. Oh, he should switch camps when he loses. Oh, this is what that camp should do when they lost. Oh, he should retire when he lost. But the truth is, man, if you've been taking a lot of shots to your head, for the last 20 years, even if you've won all your fights, there comes a time where you have to think like, I have to work out what I'm going to do here. You know what I mean? Even if you haven't taken a lot of damage in your thing, like there's a point of diminishing returns with fighting. Um, Royce says Doug Rose is one of the best knockdown stats in that division. Yes, sir. Um, Sasank says they're saying Holloway versus McGregor is in the talks at at lightweight, or is McGregor going to fight him like a middleweight or what? Like it's interesting because Max Holloway is not really a lightweight. You know what I mean? He's a great featherweight. Um, but I got Max in that fight. To be honest with you, I got Max in that fight. Um, Marshall Smarter says Peter Yan just hit Osotogari in that highlight against Sterling. He's got really good throws, dude. Uh, Peter Yan. Josh Mo says, where did you buy that garment you are sporting, sir? I bought this in Uruguay. I was with my family in Uruguay and I got it. It's actually Bolivian, but I bought it in Uruguay. Just like at a street fair. Um, Holloway will fight Jair 2 weeks from now. Yes, he will. Um, so Sank says, "Oh, what? Wait, whatever weight class kind of wants it at." Yeah. Um, Chris Christian Laurent says Max can eventually move up, but needs to do so intelligently. No, he can move up. There's no doubt, and he'll be a very solid fighter. But I don't see him having the same success that he had at featherweight. Ariel says I'm rooting for Corey. He's from Colorado too. Um, Joe Schmo says thank you, Fab. Um, yeah, I think he'll struggle a little bit at he's perfect for a featherweight. He's long and he's like not small. He's a big guy for featherweight. And he's got that massive cardio that he has and a great chin that he can carry into featherweight. He doesn't have a huge amount of power, but he does have a lot. He does have a lot of volume, and that translates better in the lighter weights, I believe, than that. Like there's just a bit bigger guys at lightweight, But Max Holloway is a fantastic, skillful fighter that I'm sure he can do really, really well at lightweight as well. Um, Christian Lorenz says, Fab, do you have any early thoughts on Edwards versus Masvidal? The big thing that I see with Edwards versus Masvidal is that it's actually technically they're pretty close in technical abilities, and Leon may even be a little bit better technically. But Masvidal is a bigger hitter. He's a much bigger hitter and carries a lot more power, and that makes a big difference whenever you're kind of in doubt and you have to say gun to your head. You kind of have to go with a guy that's got that's the bigger power punch, has got the bigger power shots. That isn't to say Edwards can't win. That isn't to say Edwards technically they're pretty close, man. They're very, very close in ability, but I see Masvidal just having that advantage by being the bigger puncher. Um, You look huge, Fab. I have 2 jumpers on. Martial smartest. um, uh, Sigoy says Max has unbeatable cardio. He seems to get better by the day. Rough fight for McGregor, and I'm a Conor fan. Yeah, I think it's going to get um, real difficult for McGregor in that fight after the second or third round kind of thing. Um, Christian Lorenz says, Fab, did you see the highlights of Fury versus Wilder 3? I saw the fight actually. Um, Marshall Smarter says, how big are his traps looking? It's a hood, mate. It's a hood. Oliver Ekman says, nice, man. We almost have the same neck, bro. Smooth Stone says, I can see Corey pulling some crazy flash knockout of Peter, slowly breaking Corey down. Either way, such a competitive fight. Yeah, man, it's going to be, it's a crazy fight. Joseph says, this fight coming up got me excited like it's Christmas morning. Yeah, this fight's going to be a cracker, man. An absolute cracker. So Sank says Fab is transitioning into Yoel Romero. I'm I'm gonna sue my cousin's supplement company. So yeah, for those that know. So Fab is transitioning into Yoel Romero. Christian Laurent laughs excitedly. Joseph says, Coach looking like he's on TRT. Peter Yan's about to walk out, people. And I'm pretty sure he's part Chinese Russian. So I feel like a genetic link to him. But I do love Colorado as well. I Christian Lorenz says you eat red ruse for breakfast, mate. Um, Christian Lorenz says Jan has so much boxing experience. Yeah, I can't see a lot of people hanging with Jan once the boxing's like once the boxing's going, but with knees that can be shot up the middle, etc., it can be very difficult. Um, Handsome Fat Boy says aside Colby or Usman, who do you think will give Hamza a hard time? Love that singing artist jacket. Thank you, sir. Um, I think I think Gilbert Burns would be a real interesting fight. I'd love to see him fight Gilbert Burns. I think that's gonna be a real interesting fight. Ren Witchell says, Fab, are you on the Mexican supplements? Marshall Smarter says, weird because Yo makes the rock look small. Ariel says, feel like Corey is going to land some nasty knees considering Yan is a boxer. Could be. Christian Lorenz says, Russia is one of the few countries to give Master of Sport for athletes. It's quite the honor. Yes, Master of Sport and International Master of Sport. Joseph says, somebody give Coach a mask so he can finally get to his true form of Bane. Marshall Smarter says, a kinship. Ariel, let's go, Corey. Let's go. Let's see this fight. I love Colorado, eh? Colorado is such a beautiful place, man. Such a beautiful place. When we were looking at moving to the States, Colorado was one of the places we were looking into. Nice one-handed cartwheel by Peter Yan. Ariel says, beat that little Russian man. Interesting, man. Interesting fight. Peter Yan looks amped. Ariel says, my prediction, Sanhagen via knee KO. I mean, it could happen. It could happen. You know what I mean? It's definitely one of the ways that Sanhagen could win. 67-inch reach and 70-inch reach for Corey, but Corey's 5'11" and 5 feet 7.5 inches from uh, Peter Yan. The thing that happens though is the the reach is actually done as wingspan, so it's not really a true representation of reach. And reach in MMA, you got legs, you got hands, you got a whole bunch of other things. If you're tall as well, like the length, you're able to move out of the way, able to lean back a little bit. You're able to just step one step back, and you're out of range. So The range is different to just the reach as people see it. Marshall Smarter says Colorado reminiscent of Inner Mongolia. It could be. It could be. It could be. Sandhagen's pumped as well. And if I'm not mistaken, Sandhagen was a basketball player. Oliver Ekman says, I have 4 inches on Jan's wingspan, but I'm only half an inch taller. Yeah, I'd say that's a lot of that's got to do with you being a lot broader. Joseph says, imagine Peter Yan working as a customer service rep at your local supermarket and you need to return to something. Christian Lane says, not even close to be honest. Inner Mongolia is a rain desert and one of the most extreme weather variant places on earth. Um, yeah, but Colorado's pretty. I'm not saying they're the same, by the way, but Colorado's pretty big weather variant as well. Um, if you go there like summer and winter, it's massively different. We're about to start, people. They touch gloves, and we're off, people. Both men in the orthodox stance. Corey looking for leg kicks and trying to find a home for that jab. But Peter Yan in the boxing, man, he's as soon as that game starts to be played, he's very, very good at it. He understands the distance really well. His guard's superb. Another leg kick attempt by Corey. Nice inside kick by Peter Yan. Peter Yan switches to southpaw. He's a switch hitter too. The way that he does this, he'll step in now from southpaw and he'll be standing in orthodox and throw that right hand lead. He's very, very, very good at doing that and switching up. Nice body kick by Sandhagen. Another good leg kick by Sandhagen. That movement by Sandhagen is very good. He's just staying outside in the periphery of Peter Yan's range. See, Sandhagen himself has had a good background in striking with Muay Thai and whatnot. Nice leg kick. Coming at him from all different angles is Sandhagen, and he's moving a lot and he's being very difficult. But one of the things about Peter Yan, he knows it's a 5 round fight, and he's very, very patient. And he knows that Sandhagen probably won't be able to move the same way for the whole 5 rounds. He's very, very patient guy, very, very methodical is Peter Yan. Nice little leg kick by Peter Yan himself there. Nice combination by Corey. Peter Yan lands a little eye gouge, apologizes. Sandhagen with a nice rip to the body of Peter Yan. Peter Yan with a kick to the body himself, and he's looking for that stomp oblique kick. Covers up quite well, does Peter Yan. Oh, nice leg kick by Sandhagen. Peter Yan does such a good job of covering up, man. Sandhagen is looking for a double leg, gets the body lock from the back. Peter Yan goes up, uses the cage quite well. The thing with Yan is he's very methodical, man. You keep up with him for 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds, but then he pulls away, and his ability to cover up and defend is really, really good. Sandhagen, I would have Sandhagen winning this round at this stage. Nice body kicks by Sandhagen. Oh, nice leg kick by Sandhagen. Nice leg kick by Peter Yan. Peter Yan fighting out of the southpaw stance. Now he's landed some shots to the body of Sandhagen because Sandhagen has big welts on his body already. But Sandhagen also looks like he'd get welts on his body just because he's so white from like a stiff breeze. You know, his arms and that are already like red in places. So it doesn't necessarily mean that he's actually like been hurt, if that makes sense. Oh, there's that knee up the middle by Sandhagen. Nice teep kick by Sandhagen. Peter Yan, very methodical, man. Just stalking him, walking him down the like along the octagon, you know. Oh, nice calf kick landed by Peter Yan. Sandhagen comes forward with a combination inside leg kick by Sandhagen. Sandhagen goes looking for a single leg. He able to get to the single leg, had to let it go. Peter Yan hits him with a big right hand for his troubles. Nice leg kick again landed by Sandhagen, and that's a good way, man. You got to stop the movement of Sandhagen. Ooh, big flying knee by Sandhagen. And this is one of those important things. Like, while Sandhagen is winning this round, and I believe won that round, he's the longer guy. He's the kicker. Um, but Peter Yan is kicking with the kicker, and that also takes away some of that advantage, you know, because Sandhagen has to lift his legs to check, or he's going to get kicked in the legs, which he has been kicked in the legs quite a few times, and so he's not just capitulating that space. Um, Thank you, Marshall Smartest. Um, he's he is real white. Like a lot of those guys that are really really white, you see them like mark up straight away, but it doesn't mean that they're that much hurt because some dudes that are real dark, like the bruising's still there, you just can't see it as easily. Chill says Young looks like those punches are really hurting him. Oh, the punches won't be pleasant, dude, but he knows how to ride the punches as well. He's very 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 good at that. That's his thing, more or less. You know, he's very 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 good at it. Nice leg kick by Sandhagen. Petty lands another little body shot there with a kick. Another leg kicks lands by Peter Yan. Tip kick attempt by Sandhagen. Another kick to the body by Peter Yan. Peter Yan comes in on a 1-2, but Corey hits him with a great counter right hand. Corey trying to control those hands. You got to be careful when that starts to happen with a tall guy with a Muay Thai background like that. They can start to land elbows. Oh, Peter ripped to the body there with the left hand from the southpaw stance. Nice rip to the body by Sandhagen. Oh, the way he rips the body is so good, man. Oh. But Peter kicks again to the body of Sandhagen. Now he's kicking to the offside, like not to the liver side, but it's still you feel that in the body again. But when Sandhagen rips, he's ripping to the liver of Peter Yan, and that, my friends, hurts. Really, really, really hurts. Sandhagen Yan again lands a nice leg kick to Sandhagen. Ooh, ooh, nice kick attempt by Peter Yan. Partially landed on, Sandhagen, and it landed on the liver side. Nice leg kick by Peter Yan. Peter Yan with a nice left hand lands on Corey Sandhagen. Corey Sandhagen calls him on. My internet froze. Sandhagen trying to find a home for his jab. Peter Yan lands another kick to the body. Nice jab by Peter Yan. Sandhagen goes looking for that left rip to the body again. Peter Yan standing on the southpaw stance. Inside leg kick by Sandhagen. Man, the body is red for Sandhagen. What a fight, people. What a fight. Now they're trading shots. They're in boxing range, which is an advantage for Peter, but the knees are prevalent in these exchanges. Nice inside kick by Peter Yan. Peter Yan lands a left hand from the southpaw stance, lands a counter right hand as Corey comes in. Corey's landing the combinations in close, but I haven't seen. Oh, that rip to the body. Oh, spinning elbow by Peter Yan. Then another left hand to follow. I haven't really seen anyone though. Once a boxing starts in boxing range, be able to keep up with Peter Yan in the later rounds. Sanhagen's doing a good job of it. Nice kick by Peter Yan. Peter Yan's a little left lands a little left hand on Sandhagen. What a round. I don't know who won this round. Sandhagen goes looking for a single leg that he's not going to get. Peter Yan's got a front headlock here on him. Sandhagen finds a way out of it. They're in the clinch now. Peter Yan lands a little elbow. The way Yan covers up, ooh, nice flying knee there, but doesn't land it. Lands on the arms. Peter Yan does such a fantastic job of covering up. He's so methodical, and Corey Sandhagen's movement, it's great. So it's a real clash of styles. I really, really enjoy watching this fight. 23 seconds to go in this round. Peter Yan really went looking for that right hand. Nice left hand by Peter Yan. Nice leg kick lands by Sandhagen. That's a close round, dude. That is a very close round. I give the first round to Sandhagen. I don't know who won this round because there's a lot of volume coming from Sandhagen, but I see the biggest shots this round landed by Peter Yan, in my opinion. Um, close round that one. You know, I don't know who took that round. Um, it's a lot of energy from Sandhagen to fight like the way he does. A lot of movement, and he is taking shots from Peter Yan as well, and he is getting kicked to the legs, so it's tough, man. So, man, what a tough out. I don't know who won that round. I don't know. Inside leg kick by Sandhagen. Ooh, Sandhagen kind of wobbles Peter Yan a little bit. Peter Yan still coming forward. Oh, spinning back kick by Peter Yan to the body of Sandhagen. Goes looking for a counter right hand again, Peter Yan. Nice calf kick by Sandhagen. Sandhagen doing a fantastic job. Very tricky. Lots of movement, lots of volume. And Yan is so methodical, He's very, very methodical, very patient. They're kind of hand fighting in the middle now. But what's happening as well is Peter starting to sneak closer and closer into that boxing range, which the whole fight he's been trying to kind of crowd, but he's been very. Oh, nice rip to the body by Peter. Yeah, nice rip. And he's able to cover up quite well. And now this is when the volume of boxing starts to creep into the fight because Sandhagen has to keep moving in order to have that advantage. If they're in close and boxing, it's harder for him. It's not where he optimally wants to be. Sandhagen with the left hand over the top. No, Sandhagen, sorry, Jan with the left hand over the top. Nice uppercut by Peter Yan. And then a right and a left hand by Peter Yan. Corey comes back hard. He had to answer that. 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Ooh, that combination's coming fast and heavy from Peter Yan. Nice right hand by Peter Yan. Sandhagen lands a beautiful jab then. 2 minutes to go in this round. Peter Yan fighting a lot of this fight in the southpaw stance, but he likes to switch to throw the big right hand. Peter Yan's real good at turning the fight into what he wants it to be. And Sandhagen doing a fantastic job of fighting the fight that he wants to fight. So it's a real clash of styles, a real interesting way that they're both fighting. Because Sandhagen's got heaps of movement and he's moving around, and Peter Yan's just walking him down with a nice high guard. Lands that, lands a body shot. Goes looking for a left hook. Ooh, lands a little right hook. Does Peter Yan? That lands a jab to Sandhagen and a rip to the body. Oh, Peter Yan drops Corey. He drops him. He drops him. He's landing big shots now in ground and pound. He's landing some nice shots. Sandhagen goes looking for a leg lock, but he's not going to get that leg lock or the sweep. Um, or is he? he definitely used it to get up. He's not going to get the sweep. Sandhagen's looking for a front guillotine. Yan is looking for a front guillotine. Gets him back to the ground. Looks to take the back. Smart though, doesn't he doesn't fall off like he didn't fall off. Sandhagen goes gets a sweep. Peter Yan is going to be able to get back up, I believe, from here. He's going to have the head up. He's going to win this wrestling exchange. Corey's in quite a bit of trouble here. Like he's got all his faculties, but he definitely lost this round. And that's what I mean. I haven't really seen people keep up with Peter Yan the whole fight when that boxing range starts to occur. Because eventually he lands his shots. He's got very good defense. There's 3 seconds to go. Few more shots have landed by Peter Yan. That was definitely Peter Yan's round. I could split the second round. I'm not sure who won the second round. Um, Sandhagen won the first, in my opinion, but Peter Yan definitely won the third. And I think that's where that 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 level of boxing that he has, and it's not just you having the level of boxing; it's your ability to apply it in MMA. Ren Mitchell says the bell saves Corey by the sound of it. I don't think it was to that extent. I don't think the bell had to save Corey. Um, Corey still had all his faculties. He was still okay, but Peter Yan was definitely landing the shots. Landed a nice left hook there on Corey. Then he landed a spinning back fist and another left hand behind it, and that dropped Corey. That spinning back fist was right on the chin, and then he threw a big left hand, and it kind of grazed the top of uh, Sandhagen's head, and Sandhagen dropped. So that definitely is Peter Yan's round. You know, and then Peter just comes forward. He comes forward, but he doesn't do it so recklessly. He does it very very well, and he makes you fight um, in that boxing range, which he's had 130 amateur boxing fights. So that ability to draw people into his game is very, very, very good. Very impressive. He knows that you can't. Yeah, nice. Corey stumbles Peter a tiny bit. Corey's still looking like he recovered well and he's looking good. Oh, big left hand lands by Peter, but he had Sanhagen already moving backwards. That's another big left hand by Peter. This is where it gets dangerous for people, man, to keep up with Peter Yan in that boxing. And Peter Yan, as a bantamweight, carries a lot of power. Good movement by Corey still, but definitely Peter in this round thus far has scored the bigger shots. He's landed the bigger punches. Oh, big big combinations landing by Peter Yan. Oh, another big left hand landed by Peter Yan. Corey goes looking for a blast double and gets it. He gets a double leg, but Peter switches into an ankle lock now. Both guys trading leg locks. Peter gets to his feet first. Corey goes looking for the back. Doesn't have, he has it, but Peter Yan is on his feet. Peter Yan's able to break out of that, goes looking for a trip himself. 2 minutes to go. Corey once again goes looking for a single leg. This starts to take a lot of energy out of you, man. Those scrambles that you initiate and you're not able to get a lot out of it. Now, Peter's been able to walk hands up and walk into this punching space. Ooh, and then he blasts him again with three shots. Peter goes under, lands combinations of his own, lands rips to the body. 1 minute, 52 seconds to go, lands a huge rip to the body. Peter now is walking him down. He's able to walk him down with a high guard and start to play his game. It could be thus far. I give this round to Peter. I give the first to Corey, and I'm not judging the fight, man. I'm commentating it and watching it. Ooh, Peter goes looking for a swinging back fist. Oh, nice left hand lands by Peter. Corey's looking for the jabs himself. Another big shot lands by Peter. Two big shots. Lands a left hand, then a right hand over the top does Peter. Corey goes once again looking for the single leg. Doesn't get it. This is this is really going to take it out of Corey, man. These efforts. Corey's going to struggle as well from this position here, with the head so low. Peter Yan's looking for a crucifix. Good whiz up by Peter. This is definitely going to take it out of Corey. Good combinations landing by Peter. 30 seconds to go. Great high guard by Peter Yan. Keeps coming forward. Ooh. Swing and a miss with a left hand by Peter Yan. Another big left hand by Peter Yan misses. Okay, but how I'm watching the fight, I think that Peter won the third and the fourth. The second round, either one of them could have won, and definitely Corey won the first. But potentially, what could have happened is first and second could have gone to Corey, and now the third and the fourth went to Peter. So we could have ourselves a draw going into the fifth, or it could be second, third, and fourth to Peter, and the first was to Corey, and now Peter's winning this fight. I don't know. Marshall Smarter says, Fab, what do you make if the boxing high guard versus the Thai squarish guard? The Thai coach thinks it's slower from A to B with the boxing guard, but it looks to be very effective for countering. I think that it depends, right, uh, on your ability to apply, on your ability to apply it. Like it's like anything else, like in jiu-jitsu, like are you better off playing, you know, half guard, or are you better off are you better off playing De La Hiva guard or whatever? And all of that's got to do with your ability to apply that particular guard. So Peter Yan does that very, very, very well, and not every boxer fights like that with a high guard. So I think it's got more to do with your ability to apply. Um, because what he does is keep the high guard, but he walks forward like Mayweather did that to McGregor. If you remember, like if you put your high guard up and you stay stationary, or you put the high guard up and you walk backwards, there's going to be no good. He puts his high guard up and he walks into you, so you can't really get the shots off. You can't really get power to punch, and then he's able to counter right off the bat. But he also carries a lot of punching power. So if you're kind of guy that doesn't carry punching power, and you do that and you're not as good as him, as durable as Peter Yan is either, it's a different story. Man, good exchanges there, good leg kicks. Peter Yan landed the better leg kicks there in that exchange. 4 minutes to go. He could be up for grabs this fight though. That's one thing you gotta remember. Um, And I think you're asking Ariel, why isn't he kneeing? It's very hard because Peter Yan he's not standing there in that range. He's walking forward, and when he's walking forward like that, Sanhagen's moving back. So when he's moving back, it's harder to throw a knee or a kick. That's why he's walking him forward. That's why Peter Yan is walking forward as much as it is, to take away a lot of the kicks and the knees from Sanhagen. Oh, big left hand swing and a miss. Sanhagen's looking very, very good, but at most, I could give him two apiece, and I don't think that it's two apiece. I just don't. But it could be up for grabs this fight with this round. Yan is so methodical and patient, man, and technical. Keeps going forward. Yan, and the way he's doing is just trying to cut off the octagon. Very, very elusive is Sanhagen. Another big body kick by Peter Yan. Peter Yan with a deep double leg gets gets a body lock. Man, it was a good double leg. Good defense by Sanhagen. Peter Yan keeps walking him forward, walking him forward. Sandhagen's having a better round this round, but he's left high kick by Peter Yan, but he's not landing any real effective output here. Whereas Peter Yan's landing the kicks to the body like a lot and to the legs a lot. Big left hand lands by Peter Yan. A lot of the stuff that Corey's throwing is landing on the hands and on the arms of Peter Yan when he throws the punches. Very effective guard that Peter Yan has. Nice high guard. Like if you look, Peter Yan is walking him forward, but Sandhagen is avoiding the exchanges, like not really, not really falling into these exchanges with Peter Yan. So it's very going to be very hard for him to win that fight like that. Nice little uppercut by Peter Yan, nice and tidy. Peter Yan throwing some nice bombs there. They all missed, but still, he's the one throwing the big volume. Oh, he throws with such bad intentions, does Peter Yan. Oh, nice left hand lands by Peter Yan. Oh, nice flying knee by Corey Sandhagen. Late in the fight too. That takes a lot of energy, man. Those big movements are spinning back kick. Oh, I think Peter Yan won that fight. You are welcome, Marshall Smartest. Um, that was a really cool fight, but I see Peter Yan won that fight. I think he won that at least third, fourth, and fifth. Second one was a toss up. The second round was a toss up. First round was to Sandhagen, and again, it's another masterful, like methodical performance by Peter Yan, and his ability to apply boxing in the way that he does. It's you don't get to see that as much, you know. He and TJ Dillashaw would be very interesting. Uh, Gary the Goat says lived up to all the hype. I agree. 1 foot at the door says Yarn 3-2 or 4-1. Yeah, I agree. I do agree with that. I do agree with that. It was good. Big flying knee. Those rips to the body, man. He gets his head off the center line, does Peter Yan quite well. Boom. Spinning back fist. Gary the Goat says apparently Sandhagen's corner told him he was winning the fight going into the fifth. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like, and maybe that's what they saw. You know what I mean? Like it's, or maybe that's what he needed to hear. I don't know. Eric Salham says it would be great to see these two go at it again over the next few years. They're both young guys. Yeah, for sure. Um, 1 foot at the door seemed like Jan controlled the tempo. That's what he does. He controls the tempo of fights, and he does so very, very well with the high guard, with the boxing that he does. He controls the tempo really, really well, and he's able to impose his game on you. The outcast says Dillashaw and Sterling both have long rehab times for injuries. Still, I'd love for Jan to run it back with Aldo. Oh, he with Jose Aldo. I don't want, like, I'm a huge Aldo fan. I don't really want to see him. I don't think he beats Yan. You know, like because that's that's how Peter Yan fights. You know, he sucks you into it and imposes his abilities, and then you fall off a cliff. You know, and yeah, I don't want to see that. I'll be back in 1 second, people. The outcast says fair enough, but Aldo fared pretty well against him in their first fight. Did better than a lot of people who have fought Yan and probably out body punched him. Yeah, but that's the thing with um with boxing and that, like, and with striking, like you'll do well until you don't. You know what I mean? And like, say for example, when people go, "Oh, McGregor did again," like, did he do well? He fought against him, but good for him, and he got paid and everything. But the reality is, like, McGregor wasn't going to win that fight against Mayweather, and Mayweather's way smaller than him. Basically, what he did, he sucked McGregor into fighting that fight, and then when McGregor fell off the cliff, it was done. And it's the same thing. Like, it'll be very hard for Aldo to keep up um, with the to keep up. It'll be very very hard. It'll be very very hard for Aldo to keep up with Peter Yan over 5 rounds. You know, with the boxing, with the striking, very hard. And that's how he fights. That's how Peter Yan fights. So it'll be very hard, man. I love Aldo, man, and so I think Peter Yan's a real bad matchup for him. Joseph says, I think the UFC should stop interviewing the loser of the fight after the fact. I mean, you're making the fighter wait there for a bit, in my honest opinion, especially if you've been hurt. Like, at least Sanhagen wasn't like actually hurt, but like in La La Land. But yeah, when you interview someone that's been hurt, they're in La La Land already. Fuck, it's not pleasant, man. Um, so yeah, yeah, he's a very, very, very good fighter, Aldo, and I'm a massive fan of his. I just think that that matchup is not a favorable one for him, um, and one he's gonna get damaged in that fight. This this fight here, Błachowicz versus Glover. My heart's with Glover. I've always liked Glover. I've always been a fan. I watched him in Brazil. I was in Brazil when he won the ADCC trials. So I'm a big fan. My heart's with Glover, but I don't know that he'll beat Błachowicz. Błachowicz seems to have really hit his stride recently. Um, and he's just one of those dudes that's just like got really awkward timing, hits really, really hard, big, thick bones. You know what I mean? He's just a different animal. I think the Glover's also a little bit older, gotten a little bit past where, he's probably where he was best. Um, but look for Glover, man. Like, Glover's got a very, very good single that he does. He runs the pipe really, really well. And then when he takes you down, he passes your half guard with really, really good pressure. And he goes looking for that head arm choke. Um, yeah. Ooh, Gary the Goat, Merab and Aldo should fight. That's a fight. Again, I'm favoring Merab, but like one of my Aldo's probably my all-time favorite fighter. You know what I mean? Like, he's probably one of my, if not the one of the all-time faves for me. I think he's a fantastic, fantastic fighter. Always loved watching him fight. But he's what, 34, 35 years old now. He's not like a young cat anymore. And you have guys like Mirab that are coming through, that are hungry, they're monsters. They're monsters. But yeah, that would be a great fight. I'd love to see that fight. I'd love to see that fight. You know, this is going to be an interesting one. This one, my heart's with Glover for sure. We're not going anywhere, mate. No, no, no. Merab and Aldo should fight. Yes, they should. He's a big boy, Glover, as well, like a really big guy. But so is Jan. Jan's a really big guy as well. But I do think that that little bit of extra age as well between them is not optimal for Glover at this stage in his career. The Outcast says, or a throwback fight between Aldo and Cruz could be interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. See that interests me more, because they're two veterans of the sport. Like I think some of these young guys that are coming up are monsters. Coach, will I be doing next week's card? Yes, yes, I will, and I think that will be my last card for quite a bit. Just simply because of like what I said earlier, like I'm very, very busy now during the week with a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm busy with like a whole bunch of stuff, and well, I'm expecting a second daughter very, very soon, any time soon now, and so I'm going to be very busy with all of that. Plus, bought a place, bought a house, and I'm renovating that. Um, and yeah, in between all of that, the podcast is going to have to take a little break for the next 4 or 5 months. Um, right now, my very pregnant wife is trying to sleep because it's morning, so I've had to take this monster for a bit. But yeah, I'll definitely be doing next week's card, and then I'll be looking at having a bit of a break for a while. Joseph says, "Sweet, congrats in advance, coach. Another great addition to the fam." Yeah, for sure, man. I can't wait. I can't wait. This one is don't judge her on this alone. I just grabbed her from my wife and put a jacket on her. Joseph says, "Don't worry, coach. The Fabolites will be here all day." No, man, I love doing the podcast. Hey, I love doing the podcast. I love doing the show and everything, and I love watching the fights with you guys. So definitely that will be missed, but it is what it is. It'll. I have to take a break for a little bit. What's that? Yeah, a break. Ren Mitchell says, "Congrats, Fab. We'll miss your commentary." Oh, I'll definitely be back. I'll definitely be back. It's just right now there's like 30 things on at once. You know what I mean? That require my immediate attention, and unfortunately, the podcast doesn't make the kind of money that would mean that I can do it. You know what I mean? Like uh, as opposed to work and other things. And this little maniac, I have to look after. I I don't. Although Glover's boxing is very tidy, he's got a nice boxing combination and looks for that single leg. I don't see him being able to keep up with Jan with the stand up. But I'm a big fan of Glover, man. My heart's with Glover. I hope he gets it done. I hope he gets it done. Lean McHungry says, "I've just joined. Heard about Hooker and Mahashev. Oh man, what a loss, dude." No, that's not me. she sees she saw Glover. My daughter saw Glover and goes, "Daddy, Daddy, look." No, that's not me. That's somebody else. Um, Gary the Goat says, "What are Baby Chino's thoughts on having to share the love soon here?" Yeah, yeah, your Baby Chino. Um, I don't think she knows fully. She doesn't fully get that she's gonna have another sister soon. But yeah, so and that'll be interesting. It will be very interesting. That made me laugh. And it's not me. She keeps looking. She keeps looking at Glover and looking back at me. Yeah. Oh no. The outcast says making sure your family's all good is great, but what about getting our fabulous commentary for Canelo versus Plant? Joking, coach. All the best. I'll see if I can do like um Canelo and Plant as well. Like I'll see if I can sneak some in there before like I have to obviously have other commitments. But yeah, because I would like to do Canelo and Plant. You know, it's not like I don't want to do it. Like I'd love to do it. Thank you, baby. Yeah, I'd love to do it. Jan Blachowicz looks like the real deal, man. He just looks like such a angry Viking looking dude. Don't you mess it up for me. So thank you guys for being patient with our co-host here. Um, Gary the Goat says, Fab, what was your reaction to the Fury fight? I almost hope he retires soon and just stays undefeated. Man, he is a true phenomenon. You know, I favored him. I favored him like I favor him over just about anyone that I can think of. Um, yeah, I favored him in that fight. I just think he's more complete fighter than Wilder. I definitely would have favored him and definitely favor him over Joshua as well. Um, Tyson Fury is very, very difficult to beat because he's very technically sound. He's got great footwork. He's awkward and he's huge with a good chin and he's very resilient as well. Very, very, very difficult to beat. So yeah, that was my thoughts on that. Um, Gary the Goat says he's more valuable as a person than a boxer, in my opinion. The way he speaks and his entire story is captivating. He's a very, very charismatic person for sure. Baby, we'll do a baby Chino if you be quiet. Okay, cool. Now I have committed to a baby Chino after this. So Jan Blachowicz has a 2-inch reach advantage. 38 and 42. Man, the difference between 38 and 42 is quite a bit. You know what I mean? It's you do slow down a little bit as you start to get older. Um, it's going to be interesting. Ren Mitchell says, I was cracking up on Embedded when Glover told Jan to stop trying to scare him with that look. He's a scary looking dude. I'm telling you, he's a scary looking dude. He hits hard, man, and he's scary. You know, he is very, very scary. We're about to start, people. He's such the thing when you talk about Tyson Fury, man. He's such a huge guy. Like he's an incredibly big human being that can move as well as he does. Plus 235 underdog for Glover. So big underdog, like big enough underdog for a light heavyweight world title shot. Glover Teixeira is right up there with Stephen Thompson for the NMF belt champion of the UFC. He he's a good dude as well, you know. Really is. Joseph says Fabricio Teixeira versus Danny DeVito at UFC 268. Let's make it happen. Gary the Goat says Warsaw is such a great name for a city. Need more fighters training there. For sure. For sure, for sure. They touch gloves, they're going to come out fighting. I think Glover really needs that single leg. I don't know that he's going to get it. And we're off, people. We are off. We are off. I have the clock minder there, my assistant. Glover with a nice, tidy, high guard. Goes looking for a right hand, left hook. There's that single leg. Well done, Glover. That's his game. He goes looking for a deep double leg. He's going to get it. Is he going to get it? Yes, he's got it. He's got it. That's his game. Now look for the Glover shoulder pressure. This is his game. This is the good shoulder pressure from Glover. But Błachowicz was able to get him back into the full guard. Nice work from Glover to be able to get um, that single leg. He's in the full guard. Is Błachowicz, and he's able to nullify it to some degree the amount of damage that Teixeira is doing. So he's doing a good job of stopping any damage from Teixeira. The real problem when Teixeira is on top and he gets to half guard and he starts to pass when he's got that shoulder pressure as well on the neck is very, very difficult situation for people. But I'm quite impressed because Błachowicz was able to keep that position. Was able to keep the full guard and nullify that. Yeah, no, he's definitely. You are right, Marshall Smartest. Like he is staying in the guard so that he can more or less win the round. But it's good for Błachowicz as well because he's not in a position where Glover's really going to do a lot of damage. But it is going to wear him out a little bit as well. Oh, he's going for the neck crank. Oh, the old school neck crank. The welcome to jiu-jitsu class to the standard white belt. When you do so the can opener neck crank that he was doing there is a really good it's hard to really finish it if the guys know what they're doing, but what it is going to do is make you open the guard a lot of the times. Which it did for Błachowicz. But Teixeira's content to stay there, and Błachowicz is not doing anything amazing to try and get up either. He's not really opening his guard, putting his feet on the hips or anything like that. So it's a really interesting exchange because, as Marshall Smartest mentioned, it buys Glover ground time, but at the same time, Błachowicz is content to go. All right, you know what? I'm going to lose this round. I'm not going to make things worse for myself. So, interesting from both guys. Um, yeah, there's another can opener. 1 minute and 20 seconds to go, and it's been all Glover, but it is a long fight. There's plenty of time to go. The outcast says, is Błachowicz a BJJ black belt? And Marshall Smartest, shame on you. Now, he does have a jiu-jitsu black belt. He does have a jiu-jitsu black belt. I don't think it's the same level. Like Teixeira's black belt, he won, like I said, he won ADCC trials in Brazil. He's competed at ADCC. It's a very, very high level of grappling. Different types of grappling. That big difference in their grappling abilities. Very, very, very big difference. So Błachowicz, I'm sure, is a legitimate black belt, but he's not ADCC level black belt like that. No. Again with a beautiful neck crank. Dude, that neck crank would kill. That neck crank is in so deep, dude. That's really creating issues here for him. Oh my god. 2, 1. That's it. That's the round, people. That is the round. um, yeah. So the skill disparity on the ground is quite huge between them. But he did do what he needed to do, you know? He did do that. Like he did survive that round on the ground. He'll have a headache tomorrow with those neck cranks. But the fight starts again and the fight starts again on the feet. So this is going to be really interesting. More so than triangle armbar attempts, I think that um, the attempts to get back to the feet weren't there from Jan, and so I'm interested to see as the fight progresses if that improves. This is going into the second round. Coach, would I call that a 10-8? Um, I don't know that I'd call it a 10-8 round necessarily because it wasn't. I don't know how the judges would score that, you know. But to me, a 10-8 round would look a little closer to finishing, you know. So no, probably not. Goes in on the single leg again. Does Jan, but now the Glover, but now Jan is more slippery, and he's starting to find his distance and land his shots a little bit more. Ooh, he lands a good little combination on Teixeira. Does Błachowicz. Teixeira's walking forward with a high guard. Nice left hand lead by Błachowicz. Again, Teixeira looking for the takedown, but Błachowicz hits him with a double underhooks. And pushes him up against the cage. As soon as Glover kind of lets go a little bit of those double overhooks, I think the Jan's going to break off and start to strike again. And that's exactly what he did. And he lands a nice jab, a nice tidy little jab to Glover. Oh, hits him with a nice uppercut. Then a left hook, then another jab. Now Glover's starting to fall short on those takedowns. Oh, the exchanges. Glover rocks him a little bit, it seems. Or maybe he slipped. I'm not sure. Because some of the shots landing by Jan, Glover's showing off a very nice chin, man. But he's getting hit. He's getting hit. Oh, dude. Glover goes looking for that takedown again. But this would be really starting to tax. Oh, I was going to say this would be really starting to tax Glover not being able to get the takedown. But he lands in the half guard with 2 minutes and 28 seconds to go with Jan pressed up against the cage. We've got to see very, very smart with the way Glover lifts up his legs. Jan, we'll see if Jan can scramble to get up because now with Glover taking the back, Glover's taking the back and flattened Jan out. Oh, he tapped. He tapped. Glover won. Glover is a new light heavyweight champion. And you're like, Thinger had slowed down. Like, Glover had slowed down. I don't like, Glover had slowed down. Wow. 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 Glover had slowed down already, man. And he'll Wow. They finished Lucas Van Loo. They finished. And Glover Teixeira is your new champion. Good for him at 42 years of age. Wow. Good left hook there. Wobbled him. Really wobbled him. I, I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where his faculties may have been either after that left hook. You know what I mean? You don't really know. Marshall Smarter says, yeah, that's awesome for him. One fight and retire, big guy. Man, maybe even let that fight go, and just retire as a champion, depending on who he has to fight too. Um, Gary the Goat says, amazing card. Thank you for your commentary today, Fab. All the best to you and your family. Congratulations on the new edition. Thank you, sir. Um, 10-8 in the fifth says, couldn't have happened to a nicer guy, Glover. No, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm super happy for him. Um, Pretty amazing, man. Pretty amazing stuff. Wow. Marshall Smarter says, well, true that. I just think his next fight is his biggest payday by far. 1 billion%. Marshall Smartest, 1 billion%. Um, Honestly, people won't like what I'm going to say, but I would say to you, man, don't fight for a while then. Grab all the endorsements you can, pump your gym as much as possible, and then have your fight. If you don't, just retire. Unbelievable. But guys, thank you so much for everything. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you guys next week. It's going to get pretty hard, but yeah, I will see you guys very, very soon. Um, so, guys, a lot of love. Thank you very much for joining me. I wasn't at my 100% faculty best because I had to get up at 4 a.m. to do this one. So, thank you very much, guys. And I will catch you guys very, very soon. Take care, guys. Bye bye.